Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm all right. I got a couple hours sleep. The baby, she's been fussy pretty much all night. She's got 3 teeth that came in already. They broke the skin, but then she's got two more right behind them. So she's getting like a cluster of teeth all at the same time. So yeah, she would find a comfortable position between me and mom, and then she'd let out a little cry, and then she'd fall back asleep for like another half hour, 45 minutes, and then she'd let out a little cry, and she just kept doing the same thing over and over again. But I noticed when I got out of the bed and nobody was touching her or around her, she quietened it down, and she might only let out a cry like every, hour and a half or so. Good morning. Yeah, I was up until about 1:30 this morning. Went to sleep for a few hours with the baby and then woke back up again. Trying to get the old shoulders warmed up right now. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, 60, I don't know what I said last night, 65 pounds down or something like that. But I'm also, um, I do like periods of 24-hour fasting, and then I also do intermittent fasting every day. Like, I'll do like 18 hours fasting, 6 hour window, 20-hour fasting, 4 hour window, and no garbage. The only garbage I had in the last 3 months was at my parents' house a couple days ago. They didn't have any. I was just gonna eat the hamburger meat, but I didn't want to seem weird and make my parents feel uncomfortable. You like me eating different than them, so I had two burgers just with the bread, just tomato, onion, burger patty, and then some sourdough bread. And basically, what I did was I took one piece of bread and split it in two to make the bun. And but that's the only bad that I've had in the last 3 months. If you watch, take the creatine powder stuff, yeah, creatine helps. It definitely does, but it's kind of controversial as well because they say that creatine, your body can only absorb so much creatine at one time, and the max that you can have per day is like 5 grams. And they're saying there's a ton of meat, a ton of creatine in red meat. So if you're eating enough red meat, you actually don't have to take creatine supplement. Then there's a lot of guys that say that's BS because they eat plenty of red meat, and when they take the creatine supplement, they notice they get better gym pumps, and they recover faster, and they actually look fuller longer. So I don't know. Do you believe science, or do you believe the bro science that says, they're like, no, we feel it. So it's crazy how much different information is out there and how many people are affected by things differently. And how they say we're supposed to believe science. You can't negate or question science. Well, you actually can. So I used to take the creatine. I got them in there. I think they're actually called sour apple creatine chewy, like the candy tablets. I just had regular black coffee with just a splash of cream this morning just to kind of control my appetite today. No sugar, no stevia, no nothing. Just cream. And I'm not really picky anymore when it comes to coffee. I don't drink it enough to be picky, to be honest. Well, I'm getting there, Andrew, but I'm not. I used to be. I used to be completely. Um, None of this chub and stuff on my belly, you know. I used to just be a shit brick house, but I'll get back there, slow and steady. It's going away. The fat rolls are going away. You know what I noticed the most though? It's in my legs. Yesterday I put my tactical pants on, my 42s, and they were loose around my waist. And I haven't been able to wear those tactical pants in probably 3 years. Where's Pops? Good morning, everybody, by the way. Debbie, Andrew, BM, DT. Lizer, what's up, man? How are you? You changed your at LD 4687. What's up, LD? Fly Corvus. Howdy do. I don't know. I had to block somebody on here recently because they created an account under a different name, and they wanted to continue being my friend, and I was like, no, 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 no. You randomly showed up at my work one day a few years ago and just didn't tell anybody anything. Just showed up and said, hey, let's live stream together while I was in the middle of recording at like 7 o'clock at night. That was too far for me. I'm not cool with that, you know? I might need to go up one more. I don't know. I think so. Maybe one more. I'm not going to go. I'm trying to get better at incline press. The shoulder, this rotator cuff has been giving me problems. And I noticed that the incline press and the shoulder exercises, the barbell shoulder press, that's really been helping that pain actually go away. So I've got to be really careful with it because I'm not trying to re-agitate it again. Where we at? ACL's fine. It's the kneecap that's messed up right now. What's this new purple crowns and X about? I don't know what that means. Well, um, I don't get on here and talk to as many people as I used to. I used to be in the chat boxes with everybody and chatting it up and gossiping about everything, but I had to get away from all that, since it's more better than Android. Had it for over 14 years. Finally got tired of it. Well, I don't know about that. I wouldn't say a iPhone is better than an Android. There's a lot of people that prefer Android over iPhone just because of the technicality side of it. Android might be a little bit more difficult to use, but it is more advanced. They say statistically it used to be about 6 months ahead of iPhone, but now they're saying it could be actually a 1 to 2 years ahead of iPhone when it comes to technology. But any of these phones, nobody should be really standing behind and saying, "Oh, it's the best thing since sliced bread," because all of these phones are made by multiple other companies, especially iPhone. They're probably one of the worst that only use their operating system, but they use everybody else's parts to build their phones. Yeah, just the bar. I feel it in the shoulder just a little bit. It's kind of weird. It's awkward because there's no weight on it, and I still feel a pinch in the joint. I'm not gonna go stupid heavy, just enough to get stretched out, and warmed up, and worked a little bit. What's up, 7-3 Life? How you doing? Negan? UP? Favorite Ford of all time? Uh, Probably the 8081. Um, Specifically the 86 and up, but at 80, 81, uh, Mustang to like 93. It's my all-time favorite Ford of all time. When it comes to the most reliable, powerful pickup truck with like the least amount of issues and problems and stuff, 15 to 17 F-150 with a 5.0 6-speed transmission. Absolute dynamite power plant. You can't beat it. There's no truck on the road that can compare to that. The modular engine has just unlimited potential. Favorite family sedan of all time would be I'd say a Crown Vic Grand Marquis Lincoln Town Car. It's one of the Panther platforms. By far the sexiest sounding exhaust of all exhausts that I've ever heard, or in my opinion, I should say. The most reliable car of all time, I'd say I'd probably have to go to a Panther platform car, or like a Toyota Corolla or Toyota Camry. Engine wise, that I've seen just get like astronomical amounts of miles. Probably the most miles I've ever seen consistently, even though I really don't like the trucks, is in the I-Force Tundras. Man, they just rack up miles. They can literally be falling apart on the outside, and the engine's just still going and going and going with no check engine lights, no nothing. When it comes to abuse, like how much abuse that you can purposely throw at an engine, I would say GM's 3800 that was in like the old Grand Prix, the Grand Ams and stuff. Absolute dynamite platform that you can just beat the living mess out of it and just keeps running. And then the old 300 cubic inch Ford inline six was just an absolute monster for working and just beating the piss out of it. The best engine of all time to build like performance and stuff like that, it would be an LS series or a small block 350 by far. It's just cheap. It's cheap, it's reliable. You don't have to do a whole lot to them to make power. Throw a bunch of boost, the right fuel, timing, ring gap, and you can almost use stock components and easily make 700-800 horsepower. But that's kind of its limit. Like probably 600-700 horsepower, but that's its limit without having to do swap out internals. Where like a Coyote, the internals to crank the pistons and stuff are good for like 1,000 horsepower, 1,200 horsepower. Especially some of these newer Coyotes, they're getting 1,200-1,300 horsepower in stock internals. Yeah, 351 Cleveland's good. I just don't have enough experience with them, to be honest with you, so I don't talk about them very much. It was posted 10 minutes ago, then disappeared. What are you talking? What do you mean? What's going on here? Hey, did you delete my text about being Big Brother YouTube? Or did YouTube does a lot of that, man? YouTube has restrictions and stuff on what can be said and stuff. They have an automatic filter that looks at what's being said and it will automatically pull it off. These moderators are not going to remove stuff unless it's like attacking me. And even at that, I kind of allow it because I do believe in freedom of speech, but once you get like vulgar and very into attacking the person, color, weight, stuff like that, and then I have no use for you. But if you want to say I'm stupid about this, or I'm uneducated about that, or I'm okay with that stuff. No, these guys are pretty good, man. A lot of these mods have been here for like years, just helping take care of things, And I got to give them all the credit in the world. They don't get paid for it or anything. They just help me out, and I don't deserve it, but I appreciate them. It's a freaking shoulder, man. Feels awkward. I might have to continue doing some like supporting exercises just to get it worked out. I'm feeling good overall. It's just and you know what? I forgot something now that I'm looking at 7.3 Life. A lot of people are shocked by my answer when they ask what the most reliable diesel is. And of course I'm going to say 7.3. What it's like my favorite diesel that makes the most power is the new 6.7. But the most reliable overall, man, I loved the IDI. The IDI, it just sounded aggressive. It was a little torque monster. And also at the same time, they would just run and run and run and run. Especially if you took care of them, you could just put unlimited miles on those IDIs. Yeah, deleted ones, you're right. The 6.7 will run forever deleted, for sure. But we shouldn't say that out loud too much because the EPA is watching all this stuff. Wanted to turn one of my diesel heaters off. I got the diesel heater on the wall over there working, the orange one. I've had it running since last night about 10 o'clock because I wanted the garage about 70 degrees when I got in here this morning, 65, 70 degrees. And then I have you see that little black inlet in the bottom of the door? I've got a super quiet diesel heater, an 8 kilowatt. It's outside the door in my custom box setup, and it's just maintaining. So I shut that one off because that orange one makes that injection sound, that doo, 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 doo. That's how the older diesel heaters, they sounded. But the new ones, they're super quiet and they don't have that clicking, thumping sound coming from it. So I'll use the new one that's down there plumbed into the door to maintain the heat. Oh, I love those, man. 7.3 Life, I love those. You got like the perfect combination. I think the only thing that I've ever had to do to a 7.3 is when I was down south, the farmers would love to run the 7.3s because they were extremely reliable. They just never really broke down on them. But whenever the farmers would take their trucks out to the fields instead of being at home, and they would leave them out there while they were harvesting, and they'd, like, their wife would come by and pick them up or something like that, when it'd get real cold overnight and then real cold in the morning and all that air blowing through the field, it would pull those batteries down, and the next day they'd go to crank it over and it'd go womp, 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 and they'd keep doing that over and over again, And what it would end up doing is it would end up pulling the oil out of the the Huey reservoir. Huey, right? Is that, am I saying it right? It's been so long since I've worked on one of them. It's hydraulically actuated, electronically controlled, or something like that. Um, anyway, it has a reservoir in the front, and if you're looking at a 7.3, you see the plastic cover that says, Power Stroke. If you pull that cover off and you look straight down in front of the engine, right underneath where that cover's at, there's a little small Allen fitting. And if you pull that Allen fitting out and you look down inside that with a flashlight, that's actually a little reservoir for the oil that's stored. And on cold start, or on start in general, that reservoir is used as a oil capacity for the pump to actually get that oil out to the injectors and stuff. Well, that reservoir would run dry, cranking real slow in the wintertime. And they'd be like, man, it's not starting. I just put new batteries in there and everything. Well, I tell them, you literally got to crank the piss out of that engine. If you just put new batteries and stuff in, you ran the old ones down, you pulled the oil out of that little reservoir, and they'd still call me up and be like, man, I've been cranking it. It's still not starting. It takes a while. You got to crank it over and over and over again to fill up that little reservoir. And if you don't want to do that, you pull that little Allen plug out of the front and get yourself a little funnel with a little small nipple on it, and sit there with a quart of 15W40 and fill that reservoir back up until it comes up to that Allen fitting, and then screw that Allen fitting back in there, and she'll fire right up. So they would always pull that reservoir dry, and then also glow plugs. I had to do glow plugs on a couple of them, but that was pretty much it. And I think one injector, because it would leak. Cylinder 7 or cylinder 8, it would leak. Or it would overfuel, something like that. Well, hopefully they're not all corroded up and stuck in there. A lot of the glow plugs that I do, um, they're just all nasty and corroded up. Especially like the 6.0 glow plugs. Oh my god, the harness cracking and everything else, and the glow plug module acting up. Just ay ay ay. The Fickum, all the problems that they had with the Fickums. Then we can get into the IPR and the. Love the engine. Absolutely love the engine. 6.0 is probably my favorite sounding diesel of all time by far. It sounds like a freaking jet. But, and they make an astronomical amount of power once they're deleted. A 6.0 will actually run off and leave pretty much any diesel that's out there when it's built right. I've seen those 6.0 stomp Duramaxes, 6.7 Power Strokes, anything that you can throw at it at the tractor pulls and stuff like that when they're done correctly. They sound like fighter jets going down the track. My. I think I'm gonna go a little lighter on this one. Try to get a nice pull and stretch at the bottom. Come on over, Jay. You act like you need an invite. Walk in. Oh, I see. Hey, Daddy. Hey, son. Hey, son. My favorite looking car of all time, if I could afford it, would be like a 1970-ish Pontiac Firebird. Oh man, I love the way those look. I love those. I think it's either 70, 71, 72. Those Firebirds. Maybe it's like 68 to 72. It's like a 4-year window in there where they were like a, I think it was like a bumper change design, and there was like something with the lights, or I forget exactly what it is. But I saw a black one, convertible, sitting on the side of the road outside of a body shop. And I literally almost locked up the brakes to turn around in the middle of the street. Yeah, I broke the law. Turn around right in the middle of the street. Went back, drove up next to the thing. I had about $15,000 saved up at the time. I was younger. I'd been working my ass off. And I always wanted one of those cars. The guy wanted like $24,000 for it. And I asked him if he'd come down some, and he said the most he'd come down is like 20, 21, but no less than that. And I just couldn't afford it at the time. I love those old Firebirds are just nasty. I love those too. My buddy's got 2 of them right now. The 10th anniversary, or the 10th generation ones. He's got 2. He bought one. It was kind of rotten a little bit, but it had a good engine and stuff in it. It has like a, it's got some kind of worked over 350 with a little cam and stuff in it. It's got some cylinder head work done, and then it has a 4-speed. It's a strong manual transmission from back then. It's a 4-speed something. It was like real popular. I forget what it is. And he's got one. He started doing all like the metal fabrication work and stuff to get it all straightened back out, and he got it looking real good. Still has a lot to go with it. And then he ran across a same body, completely gutted, all the body work and stuff already done, the rocker panels and stuff already done, everything all professionally done. The car been completely gone through. Just a frame sitting there with the suspension and everything. All the suspension been gone through, all in primer, ready to be blocked and painted and stuff. The guy lost interest in or had some kind of medical deal, or lost interest or something like that, and he put it up on Marketplace for sale for $3,500. The body completely reworked, everything, suspension, body, everything painted, frame painted, and he put it up for $3,500 just to get rid of it quick. So when my buddy saw that went up for sale, he drove up like an hour and a half, 2 hours to get the car, and brought the body back. And now he's actually going to swap the interior over from the one that he already has. It's in really good shape, interior and engine wise, and he's going to move that over to the empty body. It already has all the metal fabrication work and suspension work and stuff done. It's got like a 4 9-inch in it. It's really nice. He lucked out, you know. You don't get those kind of deals every once in a while. To do that kind of work, to have a mint condition body where everything's already been done, and all the suspension work done, 4 9-inch installed in it, you'd have to come up with some deep dough, man. At least $10,000-$15,000, and he ended up getting this car for $3,500. I'd like to have a Firebird as my like retirement, like I'm done working car, or I'd like to have like a Coyote swapped notchback Mustang. You can find them for like 40 grand. Twin turbo, 1200 horsepower, 6R80 transmission, standalone like computer management system with painless, not painless, but power by the hour, wiring harness and stuff. And they're just absolutely insane, man. The way those things perform with a Coyote and a 6R80 in it, they're just disgusting. Or one that's very tastefully done with like a 331 stroker or a 347 stroker, or even like, I don't know, recently I seen a 406 or a 408. They stroked um, a 351, and now that thing was disgusting. That was like a 1200 horsepower car with a giant supercharger on it, and that thing was absolutely nasty. That would be a hell of a car to go down there. It'd be almost impossible to keep that car on the road though. Any of those with that amount of power, if you're not running the right tune or you're not used to that much power, which I'm not, um, I'd also be fine with just a built 331 stroker. You know, just like a 600 horsepower street machine. There was somebody on here not too long ago that had a like a 99 Mustang GT or a 2000 Mustang GT. I used to talk to him all the time. I forget who it was, and he has he gutted all the two valve stuff out of it, the factory stuff, and he swapped in all new, not new, but new to that car, Ford 32 valve, 4.6 4 valve Cobra stuff, supercharger, 4 valve Cobra engine, the T56 transmission, and he said, I'll sell it to you the way it is. It runs and drives everything. It's a complete Cobra clone swap, everything done to it, but the gears in the rear end are going out. And he said, I just don't feel like going through it and gutting everything and doing it. The only thing it needs is some paint work, no rust, and the gears in the rear end need to be redone because the bearings and stuff are starting to make noise. And he was like, you know, give me 10 grand and I'll give you the car the way it is. It's got super low miles. I think it was like 40,000 miles on it. 10 grand, you can drive it on a trailer, take it home, or you can try to attempt to drive it and take it home. And I wanted to do it because it was a very, very clean swap. He sent me pictures and everything, and I was like, oh wow, man, it's crazy. Very, very clean. I just didn't really like the interior in those cars. You know, past the Fox body, past 93, when it went to the SN, what was it, the SN95? Didn't that start in 94? They called the Mustang platform the SN95. I did not like the interior in them. They were just hideous. Just either the notchback, which was very plain and everything squared off, hard edges, boxy edges. I liked that a lot. But then when it went to the SN95, I was like, oh, this is the way these look is just, the outside looks phenomenal. They're pretty sporty cars, you know, but the interior looks atrocious. What's my opinion on Trump ending trade talks with Canada? You know, I don't have an opinion on it. I think that, personally, I think that we've been taken advantage of too long by too many different countries. And we've been the scapegoat for paying people for all the wrongdoing that's been done to them for so long, when all of these countries have literally been doing this stuff to each other. I just don't see the need in pandering and catering to them anymore. And if you're not going to, when the rest of the world relies on us having trade with them, instead of them having trade with us, that tells me that we need to start renegotiating how we do business. When we're the ones paying the highest amount of money towards importing goods and stuff like that, but other people aren't, we need to start evaluating how we're doing business. Thunderbirds had the same type of interior as SN95. Did not age well. No, and I liked the Thunderbirds. You know, the Thunderbirds actually, to an extent, I thought the Thunderbirds actually looked better when they were like kind of souped up and like little, you know, wide body kits and stuff thrown at them tastefully with, you know, rims and stuff. I thought they actually looked more aggressive, sportier, and scarier looking than the actual Fox body Mustangs did. Um, when you found a guy that had a 460 big block that was bored and punched out to a 500 and something cubic inch twin turbo or supercharged this and that in one of those Thunderbirds, oh, you try to stand next to one of those things as they're launching off the line, and it's terrifying. I just didn't like how the tariffs are passed on to us. It would be fine if Trump passed tariff. It was a scare tactic. But he just slapped high tariffs on everyone as he stepped in. I mean, what are we going to do, man? If I agree with you that some of it may be a little excessive, but I'm trusting in what the majority of us voted for and hoping for the best outcome. We've got to deal with this for 3 more years. And if it turns out that he's a complete flop, then we've already learned our lesson in a very, very bad way. And we just have to vote the right candidate in next time. Why we would watch him street race Story Island Road. My neighbor back in Riverdale, Illinois, had 80 Pinto with an 86 Thunderbird turbo coupe swap. It would lay rubber down. Yeah, well, those 2.3 was a 2.3, right? It was a 2.3 turbo. That's what Ford used even way back then. I'm not as familiar with the older stuff, but I think it was a 2.3 turbo. And guys would make some actually decent power with that. The other day I seen a change the subject or change the car a little bit, but it kind of interesting. It's the only EcoBoost Mustang in the world that runs at 165 mile an hour, and it's like 890 in the quarter mile. They took the 2.3 liter EcoBoost that was in the Mustang and they de-stroked it to a 2.1 liter, and then they added a bunch of boost to it and timing and built the internals and stuff like that, and this thing revs out to 10,000 RPM safely, and it's doing like 890 in the quarter mile at 165 mile an hour, and it's the fastest EcoBoost Mustang in the world. Crazy, man. Crazy. It's like over or right at 1,000 horsepower or just over 1,000 horsepower. Feels good, man. It feels super good. You know, I hate that we're all going through this. I hate it. You know, there's no answer. There's no good answer for what's going on. But what are we gonna do? You know, it was so screwed up before he took office, and it was literally only going to get worse. And regardless if you like the fact that you don't like the fact that these people are getting removed from here, that literally we couldn't go to their country and be there. We couldn't go there and take their taxpayer dollars and stuff and live there off of their dime. They shouldn't be here doing that to us. It's just not fair to the American people. It's not fair to the taxpayers. I wish we could do something for the women and children that really do need help, that don't have nothing to do with this, like bringing terroristic type activity here. doing illegal stuff here, that part of me as a human being, I actually would love to keep the women and children and help them and just get rid of all the military age males that don't belong here. But then again, I don't know if that would fix anything. At the end of the day, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Oh, it rubs me the wrong way too. Like when he was talking about Hamas, he was like, "Look, they're over there killing their own people right now." The Democrats have had supported pro-Palestinian movement and Hamas for the last 2 years, and now that the war has stopped, they're over there killing each other right now. Hamas is literally killing their own people in the streets. So that should smear the face of Democrats for trying to support this, to see what kind of people they really are. At the end of the day, when the war is over and Hamas doesn't have anybody else to kill that's on the opposite side, they turn to their own people. That's who you've been supporting for the last 2 years. But then he says, but I do hear some of it's like the Palestinian gangbangers or whatever. So I'm kind of okay with them killing them. That's fine. Why would you say that? Why would you say that on national television? That just makes you look very petty and uneducated in certain areas. To me, as a Trump supporter, not 100%, but as a Trump supporter, I voted for him. To me, that was very distasteful. I did not like the fact that he did that. It almost made him look childish. That should have never came out of his mouth. But he's his own person. I can't control him, and I did vote for him, so I got to deal with it. This is the consequence, and I'm okay with that. I'm gonna do some face pulls real quick. Hey, what's up, Canadian? Yeah, they're saying that people are gonna go out the last couple days before November 1st, and it's gonna get chaotic, and they're just gonna start buying everything that they can because they know that SNAP benefits might end on the first. But here's what nobody's talking about, or a lot of people aren't talking about it. They actually came up with a resolution for people with SNAP benefits. And they went to the Democrats and they said, look, at least let's add this. Let's approve just this part to keep giving people benefits on the first. If you don't want to agree with the rest of it, that's fine. But let's add this money to keep people fed that need it the most and get it to them. Let's just pass this so people can keep eating. And the Democrats said, nope, no deal. Either we negotiate everything at one time or no deal. So they're both playing games. I think the Republicans are actually trying quite a bit harder to get things fixed in a sensible manner, but the Democrats are playing hardball because they're using people's lives as a pawn, and they're afraid that the Republicans are going to cave in because they're gonna get soft on people needing this and people needing that, and then give them what they want so people can get back to living their lives. They came up with a resolution for just SNAP benefits alone, and the Democrats did not want to negotiate at the table or just sign for the SNAP benefits, and that's it. Exactly. So Canadian says Trump is very bombastic, but there's a lot of stuff that he does that I like, and it's the same way. The majority of stuff that he does, I see the need for. Some of it I don't, but I think he's honestly just doing that because his first term they smeared him so bad, and they tried to do everything that they could to him, and they couldn't achieve it. They made his life hell. And now that he has a little bit of control of what's going on, he's kind of returning it back. But he's trying to do it in a very somewhat tasteful way on behalf of the American people. Yeah. So if I find a family that's in need that needs food and stuff like that, I'm just going to take them food. I'm not going to let them go without. For the most part, I'm just. I think as human beings, no matter what political side you are on, children they don't deserve this. They're not in the middle of this. They shouldn't be affected by this, and we need to feed them. We need to take care of them. And if that means me taking an extra $100 a week or $200 a week out of my check to go help a family in need or something like that, then I'll do it. I'm just not okay with taking food away from people that are in need. Now, there are a lot of people that abuse the system. There are a lot of people that actually work. The majority of people that have SNAP benefits actually work. But what people also have to realize is SNAP benefits are not supposed to be a permanent thing. A lot of these people have been on these benefits for years, abusing it and not doing what they're supposed to do to get off their butt and go get a job. Now, I understand that there are disabled people that need it, and there are like single mothers that they can't leave their 5 children that they have 5 different baby daddies with and stuff like that. But also at the same time, you made that choice. I'm not saying your kids should pay for your stupidity, but also at the same time, we got to be somewhat realistic here. Right, and I got that from you, Jay. I ended up getting that statistic from you, and then I actually went and looked it up to make sure if I talked about it, it was correct. And you're right, you're 100% correct. That's actually what the statistics say is the majority of these people actually work. They're not just milking the system. They just need a little extra help because they're not making enough. And that little bit of extra help actually gives them the edge to succeed, just barely, but to at least succeed. I told the story a couple times before, but I was listening to the radio, and there's a girl that called in. It was a Texas news station, and I picked it up on Sirius when I was traveling. I was down in southern Arkansas, and listening to the radio, and they're talking about benefits like food stamps and stuff like that, and government benefits. There's this lady that calls in. I don't know. Some of you may have heard the story already, and if you remember, I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself, but I'd like to just repeat myself if it's okay. um, he wants to talk to people that get benefits and people that use the system, to get what they need. And this girl calls in, and her name is like Shawanda or something like that. And she says, "Yeah, I collect food stamps, and I get a government cell phone, and I get so much money towards my utilities on these government plans, and I get X amount of dollars for my children every month, and all this." She's got like 4 or 5 different programs that she's in where she's getting all this stuff paid for, right? And the host of the show says, "Do you feel like you deserve all that? Do you feel like you deserve all that money that you're getting from the taxpayers? And how long have you been on this assistance?" And she said, "Oh, I've been on like 3 years now. Got like the Obama cell phone and everything else, and all this aid for rent and stuff." And because she said, "I got 4 kids." And they said, "4 kids?" She's like, "Yeah, so I need extra help and stuff." And he says, "Do they all have the same dad?" And she said, "No, they all got different baby daddies." And she said, "What? The last one that you had is their baby daddy?" "Oh yeah, she's 2 years old. The baby daddy actually lives with me." He said, "Well, how long y'all been together?" "Oh, we've been together a few years. We're pretty serious. He lives with me." Are you not going to get married?" "Oh no, we're not going to get married." "Why is that?" "Well, because if we get married, we make less money. So he'll file for his benefits separately, and then I'll file for my benefits separately and claim all the kids and get all this extra money. And then he'll bring his little bit of money in there. But if we're married, filing together, it just it's way less money and way less assistance. And he says, "Do you feel good about doing that? Learning how to milk the system and stuff? Do you feel good about doing what you're doing?" And she literally, without hesitation, said, "It's not my dumbass fault that you Americans give us the ability to learn how to use the system. If you didn't want us to use the system this way, then you shouldn't give us the option to use the system this way. And I just so happen to know how to do it." Yeah, go ahead, open the door. Open the door. Hold on. How are you? Working out right now. Want me to come in? No, I didn't. I was like moving weights back and forth and stuff. It's still a little bit wet on one side, but I think we'll get rid of it. I'll finish and then come grab you. I got the live stream up. I'll shut it off now so you're not on camera. Okay. The girls up? Everybody? Okay.
You like it? Take my bicep shot. I am sure.
So finish my last set, my last workout, then I'll come in. Okay. Well. Anyway, you get the point of the story. I don't need to say any more because there's not too much more. We got a couch that we just got the other day, and I just steam cleaned it yesterday. And my wife wants to try to get it in the house, so we got the two teenage girls sleeping over for the weekend. My daughter's girlfriend is here, and we're gonna use the girls to help move this thing in the house so I don't hurt myself. The two of them are cheerleaders, so they're pretty heavy, or they lift a lot of weight. They're very good at. They're actually the bases of the cheerleading team, so they are very familiar with like picking up heavy objects and keeping girls up in the air while they're cheerleading and stuff. So they'll be fine. It's a really light couch anyway. I'll help them the best that I can. But anyway, it's shocking the fact that this woman just admitted to all this stuff and was like, "You allow us to work the system, and all I'm doing is just working the system. Like, why are you going to blame me and point the finger at me when it's your fault? I'm just doing what I'm allowed to do." And to be honest with you, I don't fault her at all, because she's 1000% right. She's taking advantage of a system that allows her to do it because we have no checks and balances in play. We do checkups every once in a while, but it's so easy to fake these checkups. Like, are you trying to get work? Are you actually using them? We don't do what we're supposed to do to make sure people are on this system. I'm not mad at her. She learned how to do it. Is it morally wrong? Yes. Did she do anything wrong? No, she didn't. She's using the system, and it's our fault that it's happening. So that's why I'm not completely opposed to what's going on right now. And it's not just a cultural thing like, oh, this is just all black people, or this is just all. There are trailer park trash people. There are white people in the trailer park, white people that are out in the neighborhoods just like us that just barely have enough to. There are people that have died and left family members without and stuff like that. There are people with disability and stuff like that. So not everybody, just because they're on Snap, is like scum of the earth or the crumbs under your feet, you know? They still are people. They're still human beings that need to be cared for. And not everybody's working the system. Not everybody wants to be on Snap benefits. It's not something to be proud of. But there are a huge portion of people that are the trash, that are milking the system, and they just flat out don't want to work. I got a buddy that sees me on here, and I hope he doesn't see this video because he's kind of sensitive with his feelings, but he's not normally up this early. He gets up around noon every day. He doesn't have a job. He sleeps until noon, 1 o'clock. He uses the government where he's from. I'm just going to say he's not from the United States. Just leave it at that. He uses the government for a monthly check. He lives in an apartment that's like Section 8 type housing where he's from. He gets completely taken care of. And all he has to show is that he has a job every once in a while. So he'll keep a job for 2 or 3 months working at like a hotel or at a Burger King or something like that. And then he'll be done and just keep filing every month for like 6 months. And then he'll do it again and then do it again. And he buys pot. He's a dope head. He sells it. He lives in Section 8 apartment housing. And he brags about
just being able to use the system. And he's not really a buddy, he's an acquaintance more than anything, because I wouldn't be friends with somebody like that typically, unless they saved my life or they were in the military for me. They just needed somebody to be there for them, that kind of thing. But he just completely abuses the system and brags about it. And he's a white dude. He's just a stoner that just doesn't care. He literally wakes up, rolls out of bed, has his morning coffee, goes with his government issued card, goes and buys his coffee from the local coffee place, and then after that, he turns around and goes home, plays with the dog a little bit, goes back to sleep, sleeps until noon, 1 o'clock, gets out of bed, plays his Call of Duty. Sorry, there was an alert that just popped up. It said child abduction alert. Plays his Call of Duty for 4, 5, 6 hours at a time. Gets off of it, eats dinner, lunch, whatever. Gets baked out of his mind throughout the entire day. Some people will come over and buy weed from him and stuff like that, and he just milks the government. That's how he lives. And if they start to threaten to take his benefits away from him because he's not working, well, he'll get a job and then he'll get hurt at work. So he still gets taken care of while he's waiting on his benefits. So yeah, people know how to work the system. Well, I'm not saying nothing, Canada, but I'm not saying you're wrong either. And it's extremely easy to do this in Canada, especially with all the illegals that you guys are getting and refugees from like Syria and stuff like that, or whatever it is that people have been talking about in Canada for years, and how they're being taken care of better than Canada's own Canadians. You know what? If we start to peel the onion back, it's not just a United States problem. Canada's going through a lot of the same stuff we're going through right now, and if in some situations worse. Canadians are not getting taken care of like they should be. And they're not put first before people from other countries. Canadians are last, which it sucks, because it shouldn't be that way. All right, one more set, and then my back is starting to have enough. But anyway, my wife just came out here not too long ago, so I'm going to jump off here in the next, 5-10 minutes. She took the couch in the living room out by herself, which she shouldn't be doing that stuff by herself, but she did. She's stubborn like me. I'm going to help her get this couch that I just steam cleaned yesterday in the house and get that other one toted off to the curb. And then, I haven't done a video in a while. I thought about this yesterday. I was sitting having my coffee and stuff, and I was like, it's been a long time since I've updated you on how that, you remember how a couple years ago, or year and a half ago, I did that hybrid solutions from Turtle Wax. I redid the plastic in one area, and then on the other side, I used that solution finish product and redid the plastic in that area. And then, I did the hybrid solutions on the lower valance of the truck. It's been over a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. I got to look at the exact date. I'd like to do an update video and show you guys what that actually looks like. And I actually did some of the plastic on her Sierra in that was that Cerakote or those wipes that I think it's called Cerakote, right? Let me see. Yeah, it's called Cerakote. Yeah, and I did the mirrors on her Sierra in that Cerakote. I want to look and see and show you guys what those look like after a year, year and a half, 2 years, whatever it's been. Do like an update video on that. Woo! You said Muscle Man can lift with a finger, huh, Rich? 15 years ago? Absolutely. Today, I ain't stupid. I ain't, I tell people all the time, back when I was in my 20s, I'd fight you before you get the first word out of your mouth. I'd lay your ass out, just laying there. Now, I ain't doing that. That's why I carry the side piece, because I let it do the work for me. I just don't have it in me like I used to. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll throw down. I don't mind that. And I'm not scared to go after 2 or 3 guys at one time. But when I was in my damn 20s and as big as I was, fast and as strong as I was, and being in the military and stuff, I'd fight anybody. I didn't give a shit who you were. It was a challenge to me. All right, that's it. That's it. My dad used to fight 3 guys at a time, knock them out with one punch. That's how my grandpa was. My grandpa and both my uncles were like that, but they did that all the way until they were like. My grandpa would do that in his 50s. He didn't care. He was a bar fly, so everybody at the bar knew him, and he would fight anybody. It didn't matter. He'd actually get my uncles involved and try to get them to fight as well. And even when he was bored, he'd go up and he'd try to just pick a fight with somebody because the night was boring and he wanted to end it with a bang. So he'd go up and try to fight 2 or 3 guys at one time. Okay. Yeah, you wish. Canadian, I'll wear you for a hat. Lucky I love you, because I'd be wearing it right now. And I'd come up for a Canadian wild game hunt, and you'd be number 1 on the list. I'll find you and wear you as a hat. Slow and methodical. I'll find you. Okay. Just playing. I would not do that. Yeah. Okay, Canadian. Right. I'd put your ass in a rear naked poke so fast you wouldn't know what happened to you. You'd be screaming Thumbelina. Boy, I hit you so many times you feel like you were surrounded. It'd be me hitting you and you hitting the ground. 2-hitter quitter. I'd hit you so many times you'd figure you met Bruce Lee, Mike Tyson, Jet Li, Muhammad Ali all in the same night. You're gonna wake up knowing you was in a fight, that's for sure. That Kung Fu Panda your ass. Get the blood flowing in the morning. Get that blood flowing in the morning, baby. Okay. Again. I gotta get get this all opened up here so we can get this couch out of here. Canadian, I'm just playing with you, brother. Anyway, I love y'all. Have a great day. Be back later and I'll show you what the plastic looks like, kind of an update on that. And then I'll do like an update on those double remember the double wiper blades that I have from Scrub Blade. You guys were saying like every couple months give you an update on it, so we'll go do an update on that now that I've had them on there for what, like 4 or 5 6 months, something like that. Yeah, that's it. Y'all be blessed. Take care. I'm gonna go help the wife before I get in trouble. Yeah, I'm out.